What is up, Nintendo Land? Welcome to Nintendo Open Air Podcast. Nintendo goes to school or Nintendo gets schooled. Whichever way you look at it, class is back in session for the Big N. We'll be discussing how Labo plans to make a comeback in the classroom this year, and of course we'll discuss Huawei's plans to school Nintendo with their new smartphone that's supposedly a better portable gaming device than the Switch. So be sure and bring your favorite teachers and Apple and stay with us as we grade this week's papers. All right. So this week we start with something that we have long predicted. I think Z has really been the one that's predicted this forever, and that's getting Labo involved in the classroom. We've had a little bit of incidents in other parts of the world, just kind of isolated things, but this is an official partnership Nintendo is doing with Institute of Play here in the United States, and they're also doing one in Canada, partnering with Actua. So it's kind of cool stuff.
Yeah, I think we were all on board with that. I don't know that it was necessarily me bringing it up, but I think we all figured this was a potential. But we all, right? It was whether or not Nintendo could pull it off, whether or not Nintendo could sucker somebody into actually doing it.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I think Nintendo, I could see them doing this just so they could say, look how many units of Labo we moved this month.
True.
We're
Totally
practically
true.
giving them away.
That's sad but true.
And it makes them look good, and then maybe some kid will say, oh, that's that Labo. We played that at school. Let's pick it up for the home. But yeah, it said Nintendo was
And the
going to
parents will
donating.
go, and right, parents will be like, oh, Nintendo does educational stuff. They're okay. I can buy my kid their console as opposed to the bro shooter blood box.
Yeah. With Doom and Dark Souls on it.
The way I understand how things are right now is they're doing like a sort of a pilot program with New York City schools, and they're going to try to create like a teacher's guide to this, and they're going to have it to where you can do it with other classrooms, or if you're going to do it with your kids at home if you have a Switch. But they are going to be bringing it out further, not to a lot of people, 2,000 students. That's not a lot over the whole U.S., but it is happening this year, and they are starting with it, so very cool. And I thought it was interesting, in Canada, this is aimed at 8 to 11-year-olds in elementary school here, but in Canada, it's aimed at youth, and they're just trying to get them into more like programming. It's interesting stuff.
Wait, in Canada, it's aimed at older kids, and in America, it's aimed. That's totally the opposite of what I would have expected, but whatever.
I think it's just two different approaches. I think with the grade school kids, they're just going to have them playing with the things and, putting it together as a class.
It's more about the physical aspect of building something, whereas I get the logic and programming aspect. And there are two levels to it, right? Just building the Labo house or the Labo keyboard, that's a 10-year-old gig. But actually developing custom stuff like some of the crazy crap we've seen people doing on the internet, yeah, that's high school, college level type programming, I suppose.
I don't know. I think I might even still have trouble building that piano. It looks like no fun to me.
To me, it's not about skill. It's about patience.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
like model making.
I don't think you'd have any trouble making it. It's just, would you be able to, after getting halfway into it, be like, not, be able to not go, fuck this, I'm tired of this shit. Because I would do the same thing.
Like John Carpenter did this week.
That's right.
Say what?
John Carpenter, the director and more importantly composer of the music to the film Halloween. IGN's people put a Labo piano in front of him and asked him to play the Halloween theme. And he's like, this thing's a fucking piece of shit.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Article I read is like he said he started out and he got pretty close, and it says, but be warned, the latter half of the episode includes lots of swearing. And
it's just like a fun video to watch if you happen to catch it.
How do these two get connected?
I don't know how. I mean, there is a new Halloween movie that's out, and I guess. Well, you know what? That's probably how,
So
because
he's just out
IGN
doing promotion. Yeah.
IGN covers movies, I think, as well. So,
Alright.
And are they owned by some? Are they one of the other media outlets owns them probably?
no, I don't know. IGN owns Humble Bundle. I know.
Oh, okay. Then I don't know. But
Um,
yeah, I mean, I guess
but-
IGN is a big enough media presence now that movie studios will send an actor out to them
yeah.
on a movie. Yeah.
But yeah, it was just cute to see Labo
Well,
pop up
not an
again.
actor in this case, but
Yeah. But Ariana Grande loves it.
Yes, of course. For enough money, she loved it.
And stuff. But yeah, good for them. Yeah, I think I'm fine with Labo existing. I just still feel it's not for me. I am surprised that we haven't heard about anything else. I guess that I always forget that vehicle kit's even a thing. Like,
Has that been released yet?
yeah, I think so. It's just they just kind of shoved that one out there without as much
oh,
fanfare.
that already is out. I kind
I
of assumed
think.
that was coming around Christmas or something, but I could be
I mean,
wrong.
I don't know. Maybe I'm
didn't
not
pay
even. I
attention.
mean, yeah. Whenever I see anything Labo, I tune out. So,
I'll give a quick look. It's yeah. Apparently it is out. I thought it was
There.
coming soon as well. That's
This just in. The Labo kit is out.
I think I don't know. I think they're trying to do something here and getting, sort of into the educational environment. And that's
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always a fan of getting video games in school or something like that. That's cool. I wish I had that, more when I was growing up, but at the same time, I don't see this as a viable option for Nintendo. I don't see them making money by this.
By the way, the vehicle kit was released on September 14th, 2018, so it's only been out about a month.
Wow.
Oh, okay. Well, it's just like with Apple. Like Apple's goal for getting all their computers into schools was not so much that they were selling a lot of computers to schools. It was the idea that kids were going to grow up learning how to use them, and then IBMs would be foreign when they were old enough to buy their own computer. Never really panned out, but I think Nintendo's just their idea is when we were kids, Nintendo was what we talked about in school, right? That's that's what you were talking about with your friends at recess or whatever was wherever you got in Super Mario Brothers or whatever. And I think they're trying to just recapture that that school kid familiarity kind of thing, or at least that seems like the logic of it to me. Like these kids when they grow up and get out of school and they think, oh, Nintendo isn't just a video game company. They make educational stuff too. They're trying to diversify and kind of, I don't know, right?
Yeah.
As each generation grows up, they want to give them more stuff to buy, basically, ultimately.
Our youth was so much more imagination based because we would just have to look at a screenshot in a magazine and be like, oh, that's going to be awesome.
Just that one advertisement.
I thought you were when you said screenshot. I'm like, oh, that's what you call it. I thought you were just talking about porn. Like,
and now those were magazines back then.
That was a screenshot in a magazine. Yeah, same difference.
But now you get to go to YouTube and you can watch somebody play, or Twitch and watch somebody play the entire game, start to finish.
Or just download the ROM. Or nowadays, a lot of those ROM sites, you can play it in the browser. Like it launches a little browser applet for the emulator, and you just play it right there.
Well, I meant modern games, but yeah,
on-demand, instant gratification.
I say if Nintendo wants to capture the youth market, they've already done it with Fortnite. That's the closest they're gonna come.
Yeah.
I don't know if.
But that's not them.
No, I know, but I don't know that Nintendo could have another hot must-have game for all the kids.
Well, there was Pokémon Go not too long ago. It's just that was squandered because I think the launch was so horribly but like it was so not ready for prime time when the game came out. But people, you know what I mean? Nintendo can do it. They can pull it off. People are still hungry for, the next big Nintendo thing.
Yeah.
I think they did it a little bit with Mario Odyssey. I think that's reached more kids than we probably realize. Although I do not see kids out with, the hats on or going on about them or playing their Switch in public.
No.
All the kids around here, it is about Mario Kart, though. Mario Kart is a universal. Like every kid I know, they know Mario Kart. They want to play Mario Kart, and they know that's a Nintendo product and that you can only play it on the Nintendo, machine.
Hopefully they'll want to play Smash in a month.
That's right.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm getting all the kids around here warmed up on the Wii U version, which is going to be the exact same friggin' thing, except for moving eyes and, all sorts of fabulous additions like that.
It'll be better. Yeah, it's been a real slow time for Nintendo. I mean, they've had Starlink, they've had Luigi's Mansion has come out. But
It's a lot of stuff, and you don't even think about it. It's just very minor things. Like we didn't even realize that Labo was out. And I don't think any of us are really following the release of Luigi's Mansion. Maybe I think Barry is probably excited for that.
I saw it in the store today. I was like, that's Luigi. That's part 1, not part 2 in the 3DS section.
I mean, it's cool. If the Switch weren't out, like if the 3DS were all I had right now, or the 3DS and the Wii U, I'd probably be jumping on this, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, for kids that have a 3DS, they have a legitimate reason to be excited and yada yada. It's just that's the old console now, guys. So no matter how big of a release you put out on there, and in this case it's just a port or a remake, but no matter how big of a release it is, I'm always going to kind of wish it was on them, like with the Metroid game, right?
I think that's how
I wish that
everybody
had been
feels.
on Switch.
Yeah, I still think they could port that to Switch.
But I mean, I love 3D though. Don't get me wrong. I would prefer a 3D Switch.
Mostly what I'm seeing in the news, though, as far as Nintendo making headlines, and I am following mostly Nintendo news sites, but it's some game you've never heard of before is coming to Switch.
Yeah.
This game you've never heard of before is being released in Japan, or,
Yeah.
That seems to be more news than even the ports and things now.
Cat simulation game.
And it's not like we are totally in the Nintendo bubble. Like, you guys check out other stuff. I have, mountains of games on Steam. Like, I've never heard of any of this crap. Like, a lot of these games that are
the only ones that I really knew of, other than that aren't like the huge Dark Souls and stuff like that. Like, I've heard of Owlboy. I'd heard of Hollow Knight.
Yeah. There's a handful like that, and then the rest are just like, what? No, I've never heard of that before.
What's the other one that's coming out? There's another big one that I can't remember. That's kind of 8-bitty graphics, like black and white. Oh, I can't. RPG. It's huge.
It's not too huge. Oh, well, wait a minute.
It is huge. It's huge enough that I should know what it is, and I can't think of it right now. But it's on its way. It's still coming.
It's one of those.
Scream it out if you know it at home.
Yeah. Leave it in the comments if you know what he's talking about.
Wait, it's black and white?
Kind of, yeah.
You're not talking. I was going to say you're not talking about Undertale, Larry.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, seems like that's a lot of that's died down, and I think
kind of black and white is a good description of that.
Yeah.
But they're taking their sweet time getting it there, and I don't know. I don't know if it'll be as big of a hit as others, but then Stardew Valley has been an absolute machine for a long time.
And
Overcooked, yeah.
Well, but those are different kind of games. Isn't Stardew Valley like a Harvest Moon kind of game?
Mm-hmm.
And then, so it's that kind of game. And then Overcooked. I've just been playing Overcooked this week with the wife. Right? That's couch co-op. Undertale isn't that like a roguelike? It's not the same kind. It's not the same kind of game, so I don't think we can really compare sales-wise necessarily.
No, I think I don't even know. I don't even know what it is. It's a RPG, I think, at its core. It's just it's wacky, zany. It might be more like an Earthbound, just in its wacky zaniness.
I suppose. But see, the couch co-op stuff and those addictive kind of little simulatory games, those I can see selling really well. The other ones I don't like. They all have a niche, and you know what I mean. But I don't think like those are kind of games that people like to talk about more than actually play.
Yeah.
I think like they get a lot of buzz, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's a good game," and then it's a very well respected game, and blah 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 blah. Have you ever played it? No.
Well,
You know what I mean?
I'm thinking back though to Splatoon and all the Undertale things that were drawn into the Miiverse comment section in Splatoon 1, probably, or was that the beginning of Splatoon 2?
The what?
Well, if it was beginning of Splatoon 2, then that probably wouldn't have been Miiverse.
No, but you know how it appears in the plaza.
Oh, you're talking about in the plaza. Oh, okay.
Yeah. They were out at I think Miiverse was out when Splatoon 2 came out. It was still. I mean, you couldn't.
No, I mean Undertale. Remember when that was really popular and it was like all
yeah.
things. And then that must have been Splatoon 1 because Splatoon 2 has all been furries and that went on forever.
And you would never, you can't put it past Nintendo to potentially like feed us all of the Undertale comments because they're promoting, because Undertale just came out on the eShop at that time or whatever.
Yeah, they've got a section where they show off all their games on their website, and I'm looking at right now, and one of their categories is games for core gamers, which I hate that title. Core gamer. I don't know if that means hardcore or just grown-up gamers. Up for a challenge, try out these intense titles for experienced gamers. And then there's a picture of Calamity from Fortnite next to it. And Fortnite
core gamer
is the number one thing listed for their hardcore gamers.
So core means hardcore.
Core, I think, is supposed to be like people who play Xbox and PlayStation are core
people
gamers.
Who will buy your shit no matter
people
what.
Who are not. No, it's people who are not children.
People who are not casuals is what I took it as.
Yeah.
People who to me that's a term that their sales and marketing departments use to define people that are probably going to buy our crap no matter what.
The Wii wasn't necessarily for core gamers, although they kept saying it was. But I don't feel that Fortnite is necessarily a core game. I don't think you get as many people playing a game like that if you don't have the casuals roped in with it.
No, that's absolutely why Fortnite is what it is, and why Pokemon Go was what it was, is the casual thing. It's not for gamers. Otherwise, it would nowhere. The biggest it could get would be Grand Theft Auto 5.
The people I see playing Pokemon Go are more on the casual line. They aren't like, oh yeah, they're a hardcore gamer.
Yeah. But they also grandparents show Street Fighters and Skyrim. And for some reason, Fallout Shelter, which is a mobile game. I don't know.
But it's a Fallout game.
Yeah. I fully expect to see at some point Nintendo to release information of like sales figures on, maybe not the actual numbers, but just like how well games have done for them. And I want to see somewhere that they've made more money off of Fortnite than any other game in the eShop.
That would be interesting.
I have a feeling it's probably true.
Yeah, it's not a far-fetched theory.
Yeah, I would imagine everybody, that's Fortnite is everybody's cash cow right now.
Yeah.
I heard that Google is changing some of the way Android licensing and the Android shop works, and I'm betting it's in hindsight of letting all that money get away with Fortnite. I mean, on the flip side, it's pretty shitty from Epic's perspective that they just completely took advantage of Google's openness to fuck them when they're obviously paying Apple a lot more money.
Yeah.
That's, that's kind of shitty, but they also at the same time, they're kind of pushing that envelope. So whatever.
Enjoy it while you can, Epic, because these things do not last.
Yeah, they never. Yeah, you're only on top so long.
Yeah. I mean, so good for them. Get it and get out. At some point, all those people on Twitter selling their Fortnite accounts be selling them for $1 a piece. Buy my account, please. With all these skins.
Speaking of games making money, we got some new information from another free-to-play game, or not? No, excuse me, it's not a free-to-play game, but another popular game, and that would be Rocket League. So their cross-play party system, which
Should be free.
It should be free. I think of it as a free-to-play game, but then I realized it wasn't. But their cross-play party system, which allows cross-platform players to party up, as in, if you're playing on Switch, you can invite your Xbox buddy to join your party, has been delayed. And the reason they give for delaying it is they want it to be as intuitive, stable, and polished as possible before releasing it to the world. That was their quote. And it's coming out 2019, I think, is what the new date is.
Yeah, they just said 2019. Well, at first it was going to come out when their summer update came out in August, and then they said, sorry, guys, we got to push it to September. And then September came around, and they said, sorry, guys, we're going to push it to October. And then now they said, hey, it's the end of October, and I know we still haven't mentioned anything. We're going to go ahead and just push this into sometime next year. And I mean, I guess whatever. It's I feel like my time with Rocket League is probably similar to a lot of other people's, where you play the crap out of it for 3 to 6 months and then you move on to another game. And sometimes I'll poke back in, like they've got a little Halloween event going on right now, so I went in, grinded a few games to get some spooky Halloween tires. But by the time, I mean, there are some people that stick with it, obviously, and it's an esport and things like that. But most of the people playing it now are probably not going to be playing it when that update comes out, because they'll have moved on and there'll be a new batch. But Rocket League at some point is going to be a complete game.
I don't understand myself. Why is something... This seems like a very simple thing.
Yeah.
Why is this taking so long to... I mean, they say they want it to be stable and polished. All I can figure is there's something on the technical side that's tripping them up.
And I can party up with my Xbox friends right now, but only in a private match. I can't play online with them, but I can do a private match and password protect the room and stuff. And they can get to me. And we can play against each other, but we can't actually play online for points together, which I think the real big thing of it is right now you've got 3 different economies going, because there's loot boxes going on. You might get doubles of something and you want to give it to somebody else or trade with somebody else. Right now you're locked to trading on your system. And I've also seen there's a Reddit Rocket League exchange where people are like, well, this costs this much money on PlayStation if you wanted to trade it to me, but on Switch it costs this much more because there's less people playing on Switch, so it's more rare on Switch. And that would kind of combine some of the economies. So that would be one good thing for players, is they could all trade and have a universal price. But some of those items, like a white octane car, I think people are paying like over $200 for. But on Switch, I think it's like $400 to $600. Which
Wow.
You're an idiot if you pay even $200 for it. That's just mine.
It's the thing that's funny about that is that was the thing. Again, when I played WoW 10 years ago, people would sell their accounts for hundreds of dollars or whatever. But it's I don't know, man. Like, what kind of loser buys an account?
Yeah.
Like that always boggled my mind. Like, who pays money to skip ahead in a game? Like, I get the draw in some cases if you've got a bunch of friends that are at a certain level and whatever, but it's just like you're gonna suck. You're not gonna understand the game. Like there's no way you're not gonna just suck at the game. Like if you start at level 80 or whatever, and in my case, World of Warcraft or whatever. Like why? Like what's even the point? I don't get it. Go ahead,
some
Jason.
of the, I mean, okay, yeah. Good.
I was just going to say, a lot of the fun of the game is the starting point. Choosing your characters and making decisions and things like that along a path.
Yeah, it's the journey is totally like right. Once you kind of max the game out, that's when it kind of gets boring. That's when companies are scrambling to come up with end game content because you've run out of shit to do. But the point of the game is the leveling.
But in games though, like Rocket League and Fortnite, the whole idea of buying an account is I've paid money for all these cosmetics. Now I don't want to play the game anymore. And I can get some of that money back, and somebody might want those. Or in Fortnite, there's here's some funny stuff.
Purely cosmetic, I can understand. Go ahead though.
Fortnite is a game that the Battle Royale Fortnite, which is what everyone calls Fortnite, came out a year ago in September, I believe. There was the Save the World came out a little bit before that, like maybe in July. But the Battle Royale, which is what everyone calls Fortnite, just came out a year ago. People are so obsessed on Twitter or on Reddit with being what they call an OG. They want to prove that I was there from the beginning. Therefore, you suck and I don't, because I was playing it before you played it. So the way that they would do that is there's certain skins that you could only unlock in the early days. One of which was the Skull Trooper, which was basically Johnny from the Karate Kid as in his Halloween outfit, his Halloween skeleton outfit, put into Fortnite. It was available for about a month last October and then never sold again. And everyone's been going crazy. People were paying $500 for an account with a Skull Trooper on it. And then this October, Happy Halloween, Epic decided to re-release the Skull Trooper for $15. And all those people's accounts became worthless overnight.
Anybody who spends money on a virtual item thinking that it is like right, this isn't the real world where there's a finite amount of gold in a mine, and once that gold is gone, it's gone. This is a virtual thing that can be copied and recreated at any time. Like if you're gonna spend hundreds of dollars on that, just learn how to fucking hack the game. Come on.
Yeah.
What the hell's wrong with you?
Well, I had posted a tweet out like where I basically just said in 5 years, no one's going to care if they had a Skull Trooper skin.
In a year, I would argue probably 99% of said people won't care.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the thing in Fortnite. If you meet someone new or you add someone to your party that you've met, that's the first thing they do is they show off the cosmetics that they've bought. And it's kind of like, yep, they're just kind of like showing off, and they'll just go through 2 or 3 of the different skins, and like, oh, look what I've got, look what I've got.
That's what, right? That's, remember in E.T., Elliot takes E.T. home to his bedroom, and there's that great scene where he's like, oh, look, this is Hammerhead, and this is Greedo, and this, right? And that's just what
Star Wars action figures.
That's just what friggin' 8-year-olds do. Yeah. Look at my stuff. Look at my stuff. That's what they, again, remember you guys are playing, right? You've played with randos. You know what age they usually are.
Yeah. They're all kids.
But it's right. And they know how to market that to that, and they know, like, you know what I mean? They've nailed that zeitgeist. They know exactly how to sucker the kids into, like, all the stuff that you guys go, well, who the hell would buy that? 10-year-olds will buy that shit in droves.
I'll buy it. Oh, I bought a Skull Trooper. I was like, I'll take that.
Well,
look at me, kids. I'm OG.
Did you buy it because it was rare, or did you buy it because you liked it?
I liked it. I like Halloween stuff. That's the whole reason I went back to Rocket League for their Halloween event. Although I'm not as impressed with. I'm more excited to be playing Fortnite's Halloween stuff than Rocket League's. But like Rocket League had a lot better stuff last year. But there's like a cool trail and some cool tires, I guess. But yeah, I just like Halloween stuff, and I'm the kind of guy that would play a Skull Trooper at Christmas time. It's like I don't have to have a seasonal skin for everything. If I'm going to pick one seasonal thing, give me the spooky stuff. That's just the kind of guy I am.
So speaking of spooky stuff, that is a perfect segue into our next topic. I saw this just after the podcast last week, and I was a little bit taken back by it, but we're getting a Diablo Switch bundle. And just like the other, well, I guess more like the Pokemon one, it's going to have a special edition Switch dock and carrying case. To the best of my knowledge.
Okay. I thought originally I had heard it was just like Europe or something, but it could be everything. I don't really keep up. I think this is going to be very rare.
Yeah.
It's weird to me. It's like I understand
it's
Sony
exclusive.
Oh.
Sony and Microsoft have always done that, right? Where there's some third party, they'll bundle with a third party because they never have a first party title of any quality. Right? But for Nintendo, that's weird.
So it is a GameStop exclusive, it looks like, but these have been the laziest things that I've ever seen with the Smash Brothers to this one. They're just basically silk screening a logo onto the dock, and I'm like, there you go.
Well, this one has it on the Switch on the dock, and then it comes with a special carrying case. So it's a little more deluxe than.
It's on the Switch itself?
Yeah, it's on the back of the Switch.
Oh. I did not know that.
And they're doing a little more. Yeah, if you're really into the game and planning to buy it and you didn't have a Switch, maybe.
If you're really into the game, you've already played it a billion times on the other systems that it's been out on for years.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess there's 5 people out there in the world that are so hardcore that they're going to be like, I need this. I just love Diablo so much. But yeah, it's still just, I mean, it's all just black and white screen printed onto a standard gray Switch with gray Joy-Con. It's like, this is the most piecemeal system in the world where you can literally have 2 different colored controllers, a different colored dock, a different colored system all in one. And they're just like, no, let's just stamp a sticker onto the gray crap and stick a $360 price tag on it.
But we know they can do limited run plastic, cheap and efficiently from the amiibos.
Right.
I don't see why they couldn't do, you know what I mean?
Color.
The Joy-Con cases, right?
Yeah.
Like they could recondition unsold gray ones like the way they did with the Smash.
Like with the
right?
Smash, yeah.
But how much more effort would it be to just pop those gray cases off and replace them with something shiny and colorful? I don't know why they didn't do that.
And this is horrible too, but what if they even just did it so when you put it into the dock, the Joy-Con complete the picture that's on the front of the dock?
Oh, so yeah, that like, at the very least, and all that would be a little like an extra sticker
or on the back, or maybe the back of the system itself for the handheld.
Yeah, maybe
has an image that's completed by the Joy-Con. Do something to make it fancy, but they just nothing.
But right there you go. That's something that's creative and would make it fancier. That wouldn't really cost anymore, or not.
But
significantly.
I want to see some color. I mean, the Switch launched with neon red and blue.
Yeah.
And we've seen like nothing but drab colors ever. I mean, other than Joy-Con, I guess.
The first year of Joy-Con, it was neon this and neon that, and now we get the Pikachu and Eevee diarrhea colors, and that's the first new color we've seen since
Arms.
What?
Yeah.
Well, Splatoon 2. Yeah, technically. Yeah. Well, no, Mario. Odyssey.
That's right, Odyssey. Yeah.
But I mean,
the rarest.
Are they really the Odyssey ones?
Probably.
I shouldn't have split them with Max, man. I should have just
Yeah.
bought a complete pair.
Max, he'll buy the Joy-Con back from you.
Yeah.
Oh, tempting.
No,
Have
you're happy with your one red and your one yellow, right?
I am. It's unusual.
I actually, yeah, exactly. I actually am in no way bothered that I don't have two reds.
Until I'm over all enough.
Yeah, I'm sure you could probably find a refurb somewhere on Nintendo's website or something. But yeah, I don't know. I really expected Nintendo to go all out the way they from time to time will put out the special 3DSs and stuff like that. And, they might just do a different color or something. It's easier. Well, not really. I guess it's still the same amount of plastic.
But you're right. It's the kind of thing like during the first year, they had all that kind of momentum, right, in that push. And it's like they petered out. It's like, here you go. Like, remember the Zelda box set there's 3 different versions of it, comes with all sorts of fancy plastic statues and shit. Like, this is not, now it's just like, here you go, here's your game, here's a sticker on your
even by the end of the year, Super Mario comes out and they're like, you can get a coin if you buy it at Best Buy. How much, how in demand would people want like a Mario with Cappy statue edition? They would have bought it. Maybe not now, but they would have. That said, speaking of spooky, Mario has a zombie outfit now in Odyssey that you can get. That has a hatchet stuck in his head and his gray skin. Sounds
reminiscent of the old Me Plaza suit.
Yeah, it very much is. But it's just surprising for Nintendo. Like, we're going to have Mario as an undead zombie with a hatchet stuck in his head. It's progress.
That's the one. Edgy. That's the one your daughter wants to play with, right?
Yeah, and I actually grinded some coins out for her because her account is not online. So I did not get a family plan and add her, so I could not grind in Luigi's Balloon World. So I actually had to grind the old-fashioned way and go into Bowser's Kingdom and replay the little challenge up one of the vines that gives you like 200 coins each time you go through it, and you can grind that for an hour repetitively.
That's some true love right there.
Yeah, she played with it today actually for the first time. She's like, why is he missing a shoe? I'm like, I don't know. I didn't even realize that. But that's what stuck out to her.
Because he's a zombie.
Yeah, he's disheveled, so one of his shoes is missing.
Well, we're going from Zombieland to perhaps Topeka, Kansas. I'll skip ahead a little bit here. Found this interesting article earlier, just a little bit ago. And apparently, Topeka, Kansas is super excited for the demo of Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee coming to their town at their local zoo.
And why wouldn't they be?
Yeah. But anyway, the mayor is apparently a Pokemon fan and has agreed to change the name of the town to Topekachu for one day on that Saturday. So it's a pretty cool little story there, I thought. I'm sure that
I don't even know what to say.
Yeah. That's great if you like Pokemon.
Yeah.
That's kind of fun.
Maybe some Poke nerds will.
I wonder how official that is, though. Yeah.
Printed on a piece of paper.
You could get married in Topekachu, Kansas on one day.
That would be nice if they changed the name and everything.
Ooh, I wonder if they let people do that.
Wear your furry outfit.
I think it's this Saturday, so if we're planning to get married, we got to get to work on it. Drive to Kansas.
You'll have to look up how fast.
I'm a big fan of those furries.
Yeah, you'll have to look up how fast you can get a wedding license and meet a real girl and get to Topeka, Kansas.
I know that's on all of our travel lists.
But if the sun and moon and stars align.
Well played.
Heaven.
Yeah. Anyway, we visited this, and this has gone into a weird direction. So I'm going to talk about the main Pokemon story we have, and that is Pokemon Go is back on top. So via Sensor Tower, it is currently #1 on the iPhone charts as far as top grossing. So that's pretty exciting news. If you don't know, Gen 4 is launched in Pokemon Go. There's currently a Halloween event with the second wave of Gen 4 coming out. So it's pretty exciting times. So it's good to see.
I hope it's all the ads for Let's Go. And people are like, oh, that's already been out on the phone for years. I'm just going to download that.
That would be a coincidence. I don't know, though. This has to be what Nintendo is hoping for. I didn't really think about it, but the timing of Gen 4.
I think it's manufactured somehow.
Who would have gotten away with it, too, if it wasn't for those kids?
Looks like Team Rocket's blasting off again.
Well, I think, yeah, I don't know what. I really can't think of, other than the Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee being a thing coming out that's they're advertising for. I can't think of what would have had a renewed interest in Pokemon Go all of a
Gen
sudden.
4, right?
Just new Pokemon, yeah.
Yeah.
You underestimate the power of new Pokemon, though.
I do, I guess. To me, I'm just like, well, I didn't have the other ones yet.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people out there that have been playing for a long time, and I find these usually last for a short while after they've kind of caught most of them or all of them. Then they
But
go
it's been
back.
doing well for months, hasn't it?
Yeah,
Like it's been doing pretty well for a while.
Yeah, it's doing really well. So whatever they're doing, I know they're doing the community days and they're doing regular events, and they've been doing a lot to promote it. So it's good to see, and hopefully it'll continue for a while longer.
I know I've been playing it more than I ever have, and it's just out of pure boredom. I never really played it when it launched, so every now and then I'll go hit the nature trails and say, hey, I'll pull out my phone while I'm doing it. It'll sort of be like I'm playing a video game even though I'm outside.
Yeah, it's fun, and it's neat to go explore a new area and find different Pokemon. I don't know. I've learned a lot about playing myself. You learn about little areas in your town that you didn't know existed. Seeing little signs that are Pokestops, or learning,
Totally
different
agree.
places.
I totally agree. That's really, they were very smart the way they did that, and there's a synergy between the game and the real world where everything is some kind of interesting. Well, not everything, but a lot of the Pokestops are some kind of little interesting spot, or some piece of art in your town that you never noticed was there, but there's a picture of it. Yeah, go ahead.
I think one of the things I noticed is just like things that you drive by every day, and it's like, oh, well, that place kind of has a meaning. That's where I saw such and such Pokemon a while back, and it's like it starts to put a map in your mind of places in your town that otherwise you'd just
That's true too. That's true too. The downtown area, whenever we go down there, my wife comments, oh, that's where we used to go. There was a whole bunch of Pikachus here that one day. She totally remembers. Yep.
Yeah. I caught that Dragonite there that one time. Or I didn't catch that Dragonite, it ran away.
I had perfect timing there. Yeah, there was an owl carving or something that's a gym in my town. I'm like, I still have no idea where it is, but I just happened to see a gym, so I clicked on it to see, like, where's that gym at? It said owl carving. I said, I didn't even know there was an owl carving there.
Yeah. It happens to me a lot too. You're sitting somewhere, maybe you're waiting outside a restaurant, or you just just somewhere doing something, and you just check your phone, and it's like, oh, what's that over there? I didn't know there was anything interesting nearby. So you've got to go find that owl carving, because now I'm curious about it as well.
Yeah, well, and real close to my house, there's a Pokestop that says whale statue. I'm like, I didn't realize there was a whale statue. By the way, I am nowhere near a body of water. So, as far as I know, there are no whales in Illinois, unless they're the mobile gaming tech.
We have an eagle statue that's a Pokestop. It's like in the middle of a roundabout, so you can't be driving and get it. You have to be a passenger.
Oh yeah, no, you know what? Totally. I
I'm
remember
always
that
a
when I was
passenger.
playing Pokemon.
Well played, Mo.
What did I miss?
You just said I'm
Is-
always a passenger in game. You get the alert. It's like don't play Pokemon Go while you're driving, and you can click
Oh.
I'm a passenger to make
your
it.
options are I'm a passenger or I'm a passenger. It'd be awesome if they added "You caught me" and it just exited the game.
You may not have been playing while they had that up. It comes up all the time. If your GPS kind of lags and it sends your character running, then it's like you're going too fast.
Yeah.
See,
that's
what
true.
I get more than anything though is I'll be walking and all of a sudden I'll check in at a Pokestop or something and I'll still keep walking, and then when I look down, it still shows I'm at that Pokestop even though I'm far away from it. So I have to turn off the game and turn it back on, and then it catches me up.
There is one spot near a local park that I've just started going to recently, and I don't know what it is, but like when I'm going there, like out by the road to the entrance to the park, I can go, in further into the park, but my character continues down the road as if it was driving by, and I don't understand why it causes that, and I have to restart usually to get it.
Bermuda Triangle of GPS.
It must be. It must be. I hope nothing happens to me. If I disappear, if I'm not on the podcast next week, you'll know it got me.
You'll know you went to that park. By the way, Pokemon Go also has a Halloween event going on.
That's right.
This is the most wonderful time of the year when all the video games pull out their Halloween stuff. And I'm sure if you load up Animal Crossing, they probably got the Jag thing still happening in New Leaf.
Yep. Oh, definitely. And I'm pretty sure Pocket Camp will probably have something since they have events for everything else.
They're giving away a Cappy hat. So you could dress up as Mario, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. I know they've got an Eevee event now.
I think that's getting close to being over. The only reason I know anything about what's going on in Pocket Camp is I see news articles that I scroll by. I refuse to like them. By the way, it's just like my own. Nothing against those news sites. Great job covering them, but I will not like your article about Pocket Camp. It's my tiny protest.
I haven't heard about Pokemon Quest in forever.
No, it was really big and then dead. I don't know what's going on with that.
When was that really big?
It was new.
When it was
The day it released.
Oh, when Nintendo was trying to pretend it was really big?
Yeah. I guess you got a point. They made parts of it. That's what's amazing.
Yeah, like, did you ever talk to anybody that thought it was cool? Actually, I think you did, didn't you? Didn't you have somebody you had some friend on Twitter that was raving about how great it was? They were probably
somebody played it, yeah.
I don't remember.
I mean, the thing, like the way I like to imagine the boardroom is Nintendo's like, Pokemon is huge, can't miss. Minecraft is huge, can't miss. Let's make Pokemon with Minecraft art. It'll be the biggest thing ever.
I wouldn't be surprised that's what they thought.
No, it did not take off with me. And they have had the little toy Pokemon in the Pokemon Rumble series, which those are kind of cute, but no. Big square block-headed Pokemon, no.
I think everyone tried it when it first came out. I don't think very many people stayed with it.
And didn't it release really close to the time of Fortnite? And when we got some other free games like that?
It seems like it, yeah, like right before, maybe.
So
that was past time till Fortnite started.
Of course, I don't know if Fortnite didn't come out. I don't think I would still be playing it or would have played it any longer. Fortnite did not steal Pokemon Go. I mean, Pokemon Quest.
No.
Audience.
It stole Rocket League.
Yes. So since we're talking about numbers, we did get some interesting numbers coming out. And this is from the NPD Market Research Group's report. If you want to check it out online, there's a video where someone at the group goes through all of the details on it. It's not just on Nintendo, but on all the gaming industry as a whole. But the biggest news is that Switch sales are actually down for September compared to September of last year. And that's one of the first times, or maybe the first time, that that's happened.
It's slipping.
Yeah, I did notice that Xbox One and PlayStation 4 are still increasing. So Switch and the classics are, and 3DS obviously are not. So
Yeah, I mean, Mo, you were the one that first said, "Oh, I'm surprised it take this long." Right?
Yeah, I mean, this has been a terrible year.
Yeah, I was expecting the numbers to be down by like February or March when we were. I mean, we were bitching in February, and we were bitching at the beginning of the year about, wow, where the hell are the games? 6 months later, where the hell are the games?
Tried to be like diplomatic about it. I was like, I realize it's only February, so it's a little early for me to be bitching about this.
right.
I think we'll be okay though, because just yesterday in North America anyway, Just Dance 2019 was released, so
That'll save the Switch.
that will. Hold on, Europe. You've only got 2 more days. Well, actually, the day this drops, it'll drop in Europe, so you'll be fine too. But
Please listen to the podcast before you start playing it. I understand the excitement of new games.
I really look forward to the quarterly report when they have to say, so we didn't hit that goal.
That 20 million.
Yeah.
Looking forward to how they're going to spin that.
Everyone's waiting for that 20 million announcement, or lack of 20 million announcement.
Like, everybody was so into the games that we released that they were too excited to tell their friends about the Switch. So we couldn't move those. Couldn't move those units. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, I mean, I never expected it to be as big as it's been so far. But I continue to hear plenty of people heap praise onto it. Like I said, there's a lot of them are people looking for the mobile experience or the handheld experience.
I, for example, I've amongst friends and coworkers, and you know what I mean, the social circle, there's been a rolling adoption. Here and there, I still occasionally hear about somebody that just picked one up finally. It's always somebody who's been looking at it since launch, and finally just decided to bite the bullet. But it's just not right. It sounded great at first. When it first launched, it was all hype, and it really looked like they were knocking it out of the park. And within 6 months, that fizzled and is done. And now we're back in the Wii U. Yeah. So it really was a completely, out of the ordinary little 6-month stint, and now we're back to the same old shit.
But we could be underestimating the Pokemon and Smash combo at Christmas. I did see they're continuing to rev up Amiibo production, and I saw Wii Fit trainers back in production, Peach and Mario, and a bunch of the OG ones.
If you do notice that they are doing small changes to the packaging and things on those to make sure no one's getting the rare ones and saying it's original. So
yeah,
I mean, it's just small things like putting the Switch on the back in place of the Wii U and things like that.
Yeah, which is nice.
Yeah.
And somebody apparently has already posted to eBay that they have the Smash bundle in hand. But the download code doesn't go active until December 7th. But they've got it, and they've uploaded pictures of those amazing Joy-Con and stuff on their eBay listing I saw. So I don't know how they got it. They're asking $1,250 for it. So I don't know if they'll probably get it.
You think they're already stocking stores this early for December?
I don't know. I mean, they could. There's nothing to really hold it back. Because, I mean, if they wanted to start, I'm sure they're going to make them a billion of these.
Yeah.
Not a billion, but
They're really banking on it, and I mean, I kind of pull for Nintendo, hoping it works out for them, and I want the Switch to continue to do well. But at the same time, I mean, I'll probably get Smash. I don't know, but That Pokemon just leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
You know what this guy forgot to do? Take a picture of the sides of the box to show the other characters that hadn't been revealed yet.
Oh, that's
Because he just shows the front and the back of the box.
Huh. Yeah.
And it's,
So
and it's funny.
That's
It's on a counter though.
That's a good telling. That's a good detail, though, man.
Yeah.
That to me says mock-up box.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I guess how hard are those Joy-Con to fake? Let me double check. I could be wrong. No, I don't see it. Well, he shows one side of the box. I'm looking at the other side doesn't have characters on it. It just has a Smash logo. Huh. Well, who knows? But it's got
Fishy.
It's got the download code inside it and everything, and he's got pictures of that, pictures of the Joy-Con. I don't know. We'll see. It's on eBay now if you want to look at it or if you want to buy it. And you just gotta have it for those sweet exclusive Joy-Con that you can't wait until it gets released in December. And you want to put $1,200 down. Somebody says they've got one.
There you go. You can make them have a very Merry Christmas.
Yes. By the way, also a PSA. I think our Mario cereal is expired.
What?
Good call, man.
If you go to the Amiibo section of Nintendo's website, it is listed. If you look at the lineup of Amiibos, it shows that box and calls it Delicious Amiibo.
Wow. And I do
which
believe
is what it's called in Odyssey.
I do believe Z has found restocking, right? I don't know if we covered this or not last week.
That's true. Yeah. What was it? 2 or 3 weeks ago at the local. Ooh, I don't even remember which supermarket. I think it was Target. Maybe it was. I don't remember. But one of the local supermarkets. I just happened to be shopping down the cereal aisle, and there was absolutely like a fresh new. I checked the dates even.
Yeah.
But it was a fresh new stock of the Amiibo boxes just a couple weeks ago. So I assume they're going to be restocking those for Christmas.
I don't think those ended up being as rare as I had hoped they were going to be.
Yeah, same. I've collapsed a few of my boxes now.
Yeah.
But it's kind of embarrassing how many these empty boxes I have. Now you kept the boxes and didn't eat them. I at least ate the. Eventually,
I've got 3 of them still that I never ate.
It's only the marshmallows really that are weird right now, because I'm finishing the last box, so the marshmallows are all kind of chewy in a way that they shouldn't be. But
I'll wait for the YouTubers or whatever platform there is in 20 years that want to open it.
There you go. By then they'll be petrified.
Yeah. I don't know. They'll just be extra chewy.
Didn't somebody recently open a box of like the Nintendo cereal from the 80s?
Yeah, I need it.
What was the description?
Maybe it was Batman's cereal. I don't remember. It wasn't good though. It was not delicious.
I would hope not.
Was it delicious back then?
I don't remember any of those Ralston cereals being good.
No, Ralston was the crappy one back in the day, and they were basically all the same except
it was like the Chef Boyardee of cereal. It's just different shapes, but pretty much the same stuff.
Yeah, I think they made like the Donkey Kong cereal, and the Pac-Man cereal. The Donkey Kong cereal, as I remember, was just not quite as good as Captain Crunch.
I know I ate plenty of boxes of that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cereal.
Good stuff.
Moving along.
All right, getting back to this NPD Market Research Group's report. I did want to talk about some of the games listing this year. Best-selling games so far this year was the first category, and really the only Nintendo exclusive title out there was Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, was in 10th place. There were some other games listed that I think were probably available on the Switch and as well as other platforms, so I didn't really consider those. But Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is still selling.
Yeah.
Like I said,
that's one of those ones. If you pick it up, you got to buy that one.
Yeah, and that in arms, whenever the family's over and all the cousin kids want to play something, it's Mario Kart and ARMS. Those are the two games, period. ARMS, man.
It's wacky.
Yes. All right. Well, the second category was best-selling games for the past 12 months. And Super Mario Odyssey comes in second in that category. So it's kind of interesting. Both the Mario games are doing pretty well.
Yeah, I feel like Legend of Zelda is going to be passed over a lot. I know I've said that before.
Yeah.
I feel like it shouldn't be, but it will be since there's other options.
One of those buddies of mine that just picked up a Switch in the last couple months, that's a buddy of mine that used to work at Blizzard. He picked up Zelda and he picked up Odyssey. He's got 80 or so hours into Zelda and 5 into Odyssey.
Yeah. That's all you really need in Odyssey, really.
But right, I assume there's still going to be people out there picking it up.
Yeah.
I think, but I know what you're saying. Zelda, I think a lot of people for that kind of game is going to be a little intimidating, especially after after the moment's kind of passed, which it kind of has, right? When it was new, people would have been more keen to jump into it. Now I think people are, it's a long game. It's an involved game, and I think that's going to be kind of intimidating as time goes on to people, and people are going to be less and less likely to reach back and pick that up.
It was perfect at launch because it was almost the only thing that was available at launch. It's like, well, I'll just keep playing this, and I don't really mind.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing is that it really was that good of a game that it could hold it. But yeah, and there's no knocking on it to say it's a better game in a vacuum, but it kind of is, like every Nintendo game, right?
Yeah.
Like if you look at Zelda, just visually compared to a screenshot of what's the Zelda clone that came out on Xbox and PlayStation, Horizon Zero Dawn. It's the Mecha Zelda is from what I understand.
It came out slightly before Odyssey or before Breath of the Wild, though, I think. But yeah.
But it's the
same. Yeah.
It's the same general. It's just same general gameplay and concept. And I guess at this point it's an open world game, is its own genre, I guess. But
yeah.
Right, it was that open world adventure kind of thing, and when you compare Zelda next to, and don't get me wrong, it's beautiful, like a Ghibli movie, but you can't put an animated movie against a live action movie and really compare apples to apples. You just can't. One of them is inherently more real than the other, and in the case of the Switch versus anything else, when you compare Nintendo's visually games to anybody else, it's there's always cracks that start to show. But gameplay wise, as we've always known, that's where their strength is. Story has always been terrible. Yeah. Graphics, they've always just been good enough, right? But gameplay has always been their thing and their focus.
They nailed it with Zelda.
Yeah, they did. And
Odyssey. Odyssey's a solid game too.
But Odyssey doesn't have the kind of soul that Zelda does.
No.
Odyssey wasn't a reinvention the way Zelda was. But it's a still a hell of a game, and it's a legitimate, when people would ask me, I'd say it's every bit a perfectly legitimate entry into the 3D Mario franchise. There's really no negatives you can say. It doesn't quite give me the boner that a Mario game should.
Never had that issue.
You obviously didn't. How many hours did you put into that shit?
I probably got upwards. I don't know.
You broke 200, I think, didn't you?
I don't know. Not on Odyssey, I don't think.
You were over 100. You were up there, like way more than I imagined was possible to put into a Mario.
But you have to remember, I did leave the console on for 24 hours for one of those challenges, or for the jump rope challenge when that glitch was active.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
So that gave me a little bit
right there.
I don't know. I went in a lot, and my daughter still plays Odyssey
Oh, you
almost
played
every
the
time.
shit out of that balloon thing, man, for weeks.
Yeah, grinding to get the just to get to the maximum level of it. So yeah, I got my money's worth out of it.
But aside from those two, it's the same thing we've said since a year ago. This is the exact same thing we've said, since the newness of Odyssey wore off. Where the hell? What else is there? And there still ain't dick. We got Pokemon and Smash, and I know all of us are just, barely interested in Smash and not interested in the Pokemon games.
Yeah,
so that doesn't leave us anywhere.
The eShop games are there to sometimes engage you here and there, but yeah, there's really a handful of games that I play on Switch, like maybe 4 or 5 that every now and then I'll boot up pinball or something.
Well, see, that's the thing. To me, I was just about to comment on that. To me, there's so much crap at this point on the eShop. There's enough free stuff and demos that I feel no motivation to buy anything anymore.
Yeah.
And
feel like you're not going to go to that eShop either and look and find something to buy, or at least I'm not. You're going to have to be.
Never going to browse. Yeah.
Someone's going to have to say, "Hey, have you played this game, or do you know about this game?" I know Mo does that a lot for us. It's like, if you hear about this game that come out, we'll go check it out. And it's like, oh, that looks good, but we would never have found it on our own.
Well, yeah, it's like you can't even browse the on sale section anymore. Like the on sale section is how many? Yeah, it's like how do you find anything? Yeah, I don't know. And then what the hell happens when Netflix comes out? And I swear to God, in like a week or two, because Hulu dropped right at the beginning of November.
Yeah.
So I'm convinced that as soon as that 1 year is up, that Hulu paid for that, and then all of a sudden we're going to see. Well, we would if the Switch were still as popular as it were a year ago, we would be seeing a huge flood of online services and whatever coming to the Switch right now. But I don't know, man. I genuinely think that whatever excitement that Netflix and HBO and whoever else would have had for the Switch a year ago has substantially faded by now.
Yeah.
So
that's the thing. When you look at, it's just like how the GameCube had issues for not being a DVD player as well. It's like it could get to that point with Switch where they're like, well, although I feel like people would just assume that the Switch can play, all these, it's got to have all the digital stuff. Everything's got that. My DVD player can play Netflix now. It's like,
any TV bought in the past 5 years has all that shit built in. But this is a tablet. This is a portable screen.
My tablet can play Netflix.
It's asinine that the only thing on here, over a year and a half into its life is Hulu.
Yeah.
Like one of the less popular services. Like that's just how much money. There's no amount of money Hulu could have paid you, Nintendo, to shoot yourself in the foot like this.
Yeah.
Right? There's no amount of money that they should have said, yeah, that sounds like a good idea, that we won't allow any other streaming service in the year 2018 on our console except yours.
But
your
we don't
crappy
know.
One. That's just what a brilliant fucking move.
We can't say for sure that they had an exclusivity, but
no, but I mean,
smells like it.
I challenge anybody to come up with any remotely reasonable explanation beyond that. Like, there's
Nintendo just wants to focus on games and Hulu.
Yeah, there you go. Reggie's explanation.
Well, I don't know. I've lost a lot of optimism I had that they would eventually update things like the eShop and the user interface after the online has
that too.
Dear
God!
So maybe Netflix and that is in the same basket. I don't know.
But you're absolutely friggin' right. That was we had huge hopes that we were going to be plunking down our $20 for something.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah.
Some old NES games.
Well,
Come
if it
on.
ain't broke, don't fix it.
Just ask for more money for it.
Yeah.
It's a
Sorry,
embarrassing state.
you can tell this topic gets me heated.
Yeah.
I think it
Sorry.
does all of us. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's disappointing that they've not made any real progress there. Like I said, that at this point the Wii in its lifespan, the Wii U was more advanced from that aspect.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Oh they'd launched the virtual console. They'd given us folders and some interface customizations. They'd given us Miiverse.
Netflix.
Yeah, multiple
Crunchyroll and
streaming
all that.
services are right out the Crunchyroll rolled in a little bit later,
Yep.
but it might have been in there by now. But I mean, they definitely had rolled out everything but Crunchyroll pretty much within the first few months. Like again, I remember we talked about this when the Switch launched. It was a
Yep.
big deal when the Wii U launched that none of the streaming services were ready yet. That was big news. That was a big problem for Nintendo, was that they were launching a console with no streaming services, and how could you in 2012 or 13 or whenever the hell it was? Like how that's you know what I mean? They were getting crap all up and down the media for daring to launch before their streaming video services apps were ready. And they even put out press announcements assuring people that they were coming very, very soon. And they did come very soon. And now it's just like, nah, you don't need that shit. We don't care. You're going to take what we give you and like it.
Yeah.
It's maddening.
They need a hardware refresh to do Netflix.
Apparently, man.
It's sad.
Seriously, we're getting leaks of hardware refreshes before we're getting leaks of video streaming services, man. That's sad.
No, I haven't even heard any direct rumors recently.
What would people be hoping for to hear
Netflix.
Yeah, I don't. I could see a direct at the end of October, beginning of November. I would bet first week of November.
Yeah. I saw something said like November 8th.
Oh, did they?
I don't know if it was for real or not.
Wait, when does
September
Pokemon
13th
drop?
was our last one.
When's-
I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't get some focused directs.
Yeah.
I almost still think we'll get another Smash one, even though.
Yeah, I started to say there's another character in Smash that hasn't been revealed. I think we'll get another Pokemon one that says, "Look how amazing Pokemon Let's Go is."
I have noticed in the stores they've upped the Pokemon stuff where there's like the Switch actually has a video about Pokemon Let's Go in there now.
Signage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw some signage somewhere. Target, I think. Yeah. I noticed they were rearranging my local Target. You guys, is the same. It seems like they are rearranging the electronics section like every other week now. It seems like every time I'm in that Target now, they've moved shit around in there.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. And anyway, it's kind of sad times. And as I was looking at this list, the next thing I was going to talk about from this was the list of top-selling Switch and 3DS games. And it's aside from Super Mario Party, it's all the other games that have been top-selling games for the last months and years. It's Mario Kart 8, Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, Splatoon 2. But I mean, there's some new games in there that are not Nintendo games, like Mega Man 11 is in there. But it's more of the same old thing. I was disturbed to see the top-selling 3DS titles are Pokemon Ultra Sun and Pokemon Ultra Moon.
So see, there's something happening. There's Pokemon buzz going around.
I see.
Maybe it's all the legendary distributions in stores.
I believe but I believe this is manufactured buzz.
Yeah.
Somehow, I think this is manipulated numbers to promote Pokemon because, right?
They're
I
like, we'll
mean,
sell all of our unsold copies in our warehouse to you for
like,
$10 a piece.
do you know anybody who rushes out and buys the previous version of a game? Like, maybe once in a blue moon, you know of somebody that does this, that goes out and rushes to buy the previous version of a game to play it before the next one comes out. But that's not really a thing, and especially not with Pokemon. Like, anyone I've ever known with Pokemon has like that one version of Pokemon that they obsessively played the shit out of, and then every other version is kind of ancillary to that. But go ahead, Jason.
I was going to say, and not only that, not only an old version, but on a dead system, basically. It's not even on the Switch; it's on the 3DS.
Well, wait a minute. There aren't any bundles, are there? Ultra
No.
Sun and Moon with a 2DS or something. Oh, okay. I thought maybe that might account, but no.
No, the third top selling game is Mario Kart 7, which is because it's in every bundle
That's
ever.
bundled with every.
Yeah. Okay. So that makes sense, but the Pokemoms don't.
Yeah, it's just odd. Most of them
They
are
must.
bundled in.
Maybe they sold like 1 million copies of Pokemon to whatever school district along with the Labo shit. Maybe that's
Use this as extra cardboard.
Yeah, just something to jack up the numbers. I don't know. Or they sold them all like, here, you can build a house out of Nintendo
Yeah, they could have
cartridges.
sold them to stores like super cheap with Nintendo trying to like unload their back stock that they've got of it or something. And
is NPD numbers sales or is that shipped items? I forget.
I'm sure it's shipped. It's probably shipped.
So then that could very well mean you're absolutely right that Nintendo's offloading copies of Ultra Sun and Moon at a discounted rate, as much as possible, and they quite possibly might very well be cognizant of the NPD numbers and timing it this way on purpose, right? Do immediately, like, this is the plan right before the next Pokemon game. Maybe they've done this before and we've never noticed, but right, it would make sense right before the next Pokemon game comes out. That's when we dump all our old copies of the previous one that haven't sold at whatever discounted rate we can. And it has, A, we're clearing out stock, but B, we're also, artificially inflating the numbers and generating early buzz for the next game.
Well, that's the other thing about Pokemon. If you go into a store like your Walmart or Target and you look, there's always like the last 3 Pokemon games that are still there at full price.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's because Pokemon games are that kind of thing. Like, when I bought Black and White, it was my first Pokemon game. I bought Black, I think, and the wife got White. It was my first Pokemon game. I just went out and bought 2 copies because, and I probably paid full price for them. Maybe I got some kind of deal, but it didn't matter to me at the time because it's just like, okay, I'm going to try this Pokemon game that I've heard about for 20 years. Because my wife, my girlfriend was all into it and was talking me into it. But you know what I mean? I'm the perfect candidate for that, where I went in and bought a game that wasn't a new release for probably full price because I was going to buy that game, period. You know what I mean? And I think most people that buy a Pokemon game for one reason or another are in that same boat where they're going to buy it regardless. So
yeah.
You know what I mean? I get the logic. If they, it makes sense to always have it on the shelf.
They're not going to put it on sale, and people's not going to say, "Oh, I was thinking about that Pokemon game, but I'll go buy it now because it's on sale." Maybe if you're buying a second copy, but no.
Yeah, exactly. That's only oddball situations. For the most part, if you're a Pokemon fan, you're gonna, if you've played the previous Pokemon games and you were, if you're at all hooked, you're just gonna pay full price for the next Pokemon game. To a point, because remember they blew that with Ultra Sun and Moon. A lot of people that was their first one they passed on. But yeah, that makes perfect sense. Like, getting parents and stuff. Oh, my kid's finally old enough to get a 3DS or a 2DS or whatever. I'm getting them a Pokemon game with it. Yeah. I'm sure there's plenty, and it doesn't matter how that could be a 5-year-old. Well, they're never that long between releases, but it could be a 1.5 year old Pokemon game. Doesn't matter. That's the Pokemon game I'm getting for my kid.
Or it's later, it's their birthday, or it's Christmas, or it's some holiday, and they need a gift or a game to play over the summer. Go get some Pokemon. Anyway, interesting times. It is very interesting that all this Pokemon news and all the Pokemon numbers are up, even on 3DS. That's interesting.
I just think, excuse me, I think it's bogus. Do you guys think it's bogus, or do you think I'm being paranoid?
Paranoid.
Okay.
But I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's driving it. I said the same with Pokemon Go. Like, unless it's just hype for another Pokemon game coming out. But yeah,
That's what Nintendo wants you to think, man.
Yeah.
I think we'll find out the true story once we get numbers on Let's Go release sales and things like that. It'd be interesting.
Was that Sun and Moon or Ultra Sun and Moon?
Ultra Sun and Moon.
Ultra. All right.
Yeah. What? Your prediction, Jason? I think is our prediction all around that this is going to sell better than Pokemon games generally do.
I don't know.
I don't know if it's different. It's not the same old, same old.
Yeah, but
it might reach a newer audience that Pokemon hasn't had before.
But the old audience
hardcores aren't necessarily going to buy it.
Yeah, like we're not, right? Jason and
Jason,
you and I would consider reasonably hardcore or have been at some point.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely not. I'm waiting and seeing on this thing next year they're talking about. But it does worry me that this, will be 1 billion people's first experience with Pokemon. But no, but I mean, you know what I mean. No, but right, this could very well be 5 or 10 million people's first experience with Pokemon.
Maybe. Yeah.
And that to me might be bad enough. Right? That might be enough to ruin Pokemon, in my opinion, but we'll see.
I don't know.
They could have just added an easy mode to Pokemon.
I think that's a really good point. They could have added a Let's Go mode that would just remove that. But I'm just thinking about, as we talked about earlier, the people that we see playing Pokemon Go is a different audience. And I don't know. I just don't see those people going out to buy a Switch to play this game on.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're selling people on a phone, which it already had most likely, and they can download it for free, as to spending $300 plus another $60 plus to get the game. I don't know.
Nintendo really thought they were manufacturing a Wii-sized hit, and that they were about to put a Pokemon Go-sized hit on that hit of a system. And neither of those has really panned out quite to be what they thought, right? They obviously hitched their cart to Pokemon Go very early on. And, and again, don't get me wrong, Jason, and I know folks are kind of getting back into it, and it's expanded considerably since it started, and it's not in any way comparable to the, diarrhea train wreck that is Pocket Camp. But it's still it fell far short of expectations at launch, and they squandered the huge amount of buzz they had. If that had been a really good game at launch, oh my God, Nintendo would own the world right now.
Yeah.
But Nintendo would, even though they didn't actually have all that much to do with the game, because everybody was dumping money into them anyway, and it's still, everyone thinks of it as their property. It would be a totally different thing with the Switch right now if that game had actually been good at launch. But instead, it's a disappointment. And I think
good enough to be a huge phenomenon, though.
For a minute, right? Like, it was so buggy and flaky and problematic for the first, you know what I mean? I would say 75% of the casuals dropped it within a couple weeks, right? It was a huge thing for a few weeks, and then people very quickly, at least, people I knew that were not, right? All the people that were like, holy shit, you're playing Pokemon Go? Those people weren't playing it anymore after a week or two. My mom, someone's grandma, and yeah, there's exceptions, but you know what I mean? There was a huge drop off because the game was buggy, flaky, and there was hardly anything to it. It was kind of a crappy, shitty cash in, in my opinion. Just because it was, I don't know, man. To me, there should have been way more to it before they launched it, and it should have been way more polished and way more stable, and it just wasn't. So, point being, had that been, better at launch, had that really been something like something that could have turned into Fortnite, right? Fortnite is this very similar situation where if they weren't constantly on top of fixing shit and adding shit and changing shit, you guys would have lost interest very quickly. Everybody would have, and it would not be the global phenomenon it is now. Right? It's to me, those two are the exact same things. One is an example of something that was handled properly, and one is an example of something that was the textbook example of what not to do when launching a new game. So again, we would be in a completely different world, and people would be buying this game in droves, but they made the wrong bets, and this is the fruition of it, and I think it's going to tank. Sorry, that was a long rant.
We will see.
Yeah, I'm more interested to see how the numbers do and what kind of buzz it has, and I would love to see stories of people who have played Pokemon Go as their first Pokemon experience or first Pokemon experience in a long time and are picking up this game. So, I mean, if we have got fans out there listening, if you are playing Pokemon Go, by the way, right on, I still am. But you're thinking about picking up this game, we'd love to hear from you and hear your kind of thoughts about what attracts you to this game. And are you willing to pay $300 or $400 to play this? It's interesting. I don't know. We'll see how it does.
Wait, $300 or $400? Where did the $300 or $400 come from?
Well, you have to buy
you mean dropping an actual Switch? Yeah.
$300 plus another $70 for the game.
Yeah,
right?
man.
$370.
And then the goofy ball if you want it.
Yeah.
What was that? $40, $50?
Yeah, 50, I think.
So it's quickly a $300 to $400 experience. Well, it's at least a $370.
Yeah,
So,
bare minimum out the door, $370. Unless you can find some non-existent deal on a Switch, there may be a few. I bet you there's going to be a few for.
Yeah, I have like refurbished ones or something for a little bit less.
Oh, that's true. Like for what was it, like $30 off or something?
Yeah, not very much.
Miserable.
but if you're a Pokemon fan enough to where you're willing to buy a system for it, you're probably going to buy the bundle special Joy-Cons. I would.
And they might buy it thinking, well, there's another Pokemon game coming out next year, so
There's other games on the system I might enjoy.
I don't know. Yeah, like if I hadn't jumped on the bandwagon in the beginning, because I don't always, I would have bought it by Odyssey. I don't know. Are there Pokemon people that are holdouts at this point? Yeah. What kind of percent? You know what I mean? How many people do you think? What kind of numbers do we think are out there of people that are like, okay, when the Pokemon franchise moves over, that's when I'm moving over?
I knew people back in my Animal Crossing days that did not buy the latest hardware or the hardware refresh until the Pokemon game came out on it. So they didn't buy a 3DS until there was a Pokemon game on 3DS. So there's a small group, but I think it's a very small group.
And to me, like DS to 3DS, I got that. It really didn't feel like, oh, it's the exact same thing I already have, but now it's 3D. That's how it felt to a lot of people. And to a degree, they were kind of right. Whereas to me, the Switch is a different enough system that people probably already decided at this point whether they're on board or not. I think the numbers. I think the number will be there. I think it'll be smaller. I don't see them selling a ton of these bundles. Is my point. But then maybe they're not producing a ton of them.
But there's also parents and grandparents that know the kids in Pokemon, and this is the Pokemon.
That's true. That is true.
And there will be a lot of kids who will ask for it because it has Pokemon on it.
Really? Do you think that's still a thing?
I want the Pikachu.
I mean, you've got a daughter of age that
Yeah.
works, but it's like, I don't know. Here and there, I know the kids play the Pokemon card games and stuff, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's as big of a character, kind of thing these days to kids. I might be wrong. I'm not a
My
kid.
daughter loves Pikachu. She's got Pikachu socks, Pikachu dolls.
Yeah, but this
She's
is
never
the
even played
daughter.
a Pokemon game.
This is the daughter you've spoon-fed, video game nostalgia since birth. So
Yeah, but
she's
I have not
predisposed
had
for that.
love for Pokemon. I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know.
That's just another. And I was a little proud today. She was talking about McDonald's, and she's like, "Who's that guy? That clown that they have sitting on the benches sometimes?" I'm like, Ronald McDonald. Like, that's awesome that she's 5, but McDonald's has wiped Ronald McDonald from their image, so
That's true.
Yeah.
that's to be
Dude,
understood.
that's something actually that I've had some fun with. Sidetracking to my mini hacking is all the McDonald's licensed games that are out there. There's more than I realized. There's at least one on like every console.
Yeah, I know Mick
and
Kids for NES was like a
there's
Super Mario 3 clone.
there's another one called Mick and Mac something something, that the European box art has a McDonald's logo. The American one, it's all scrubbed, so you wouldn't figure it out by looking at the American box art, other than the fact that if the kids are wearing like yellow and red, like the color scheme of all their
Yeah,
clothes is McDonald's colors and whatever, but there's no, the American version of that game, there's no logo, there's no nothing. You just, like, I downloaded, oh, Mick and Mac, what is this? I have not, was this like Joe and Mac or one of these other ones I've never heard of? And then it wasn't until I ran across the European box art that I figured out what the hell Mick and Mac was about. And it's like, oh well, holy crap. But they totally sold it as a legitimate, at least as far as the box art goes. I haven't fired up the game to see, but it was obviously a McDonald's marketing game that they somehow decided, got away with scrubbing the McDonald's marketing stuff off the packaging in the States. I don't know why I got off on that one, but yeah, they're it's just shocking. And Marlboro games, I'm sure you've heard of Pepsi Man.
Did you say Marlboro, as in the cigarettes?
Yes, as in the Atari Lynx has an unreleased Team Marlboro Go racing game. That's full of Marlboro logos all through the game. It's
Pepsi Man was a cult classic that came back a few years ago. I think somebody played it for one of those gaming marathons or something, but it was like a PlayStation game that was available in certain packages of Pepsi products for a while.
Is that how that worked? I see. I was told I read somewhere that this was actually sold as a packaged.
Oh, was it? I thought it was a freebie, but maybe not.
Well, I don't know. But it was vaguely worded as far as quote unquote sales went. So maybe it wasn't really sold per se.
I was shocked today when I went to Walmart and saw they had those Net Zero discs still. It's like only $14.95 a month. I was like, no.
When you just said that, I was like, Net Zero. Where have I heard that word before?
20 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm like, God, I hope it's not still dial-up.
Like, how would that even work? Those kind of phone systems dial-up phone systems don't exist anymore. Like, I don't even, whatever.
I don't know. I didn't look into it. I just saw the disc and I had AOL flashbacks. It's like, that's not still a thing. That can't still be a thing.
I don't know, man. There's still somebody out there buying VHS tapes, renting DVDs.
Anyway.
The DVDs are cheaper than the Blu-rays.
The quality difference is substantial, though.
Yeah, they're just going to rent it for a night.
But I mean, for people that don't have HD televisions in 2018, I suppose it doesn't matter.
So anyway, before we go any further down memory lane, we've got a little bit of the future here. So as I mentioned in the opening, Huawei is releasing a new smartphone called the Mate20 X. So this is a gaming phone, and for some reason they have decided they're just going to call out the Switch and say, hey, we're a better portable gaming machine than you are. And if you see their presentation, they go by step. They talk about the screen. They talk about the battery life. They're going to double the battery life, basically. And then they have this very unusual left gamepad that looks identical to a Joy-Con that attaches to the phone. So it's interesting. And before you get too sold on it, though, it does cost $1,040.
Well, I thought about that. That's like how much a high-end cell phone is these days, but nobody ever actually pays that because it's always right. You're getting some kind of deal when you sign the contract or whatever. So you're never actually paying that for the phone. So it's that's kind of a not a fair comparison to do the price. Now that said, I don't imagine you're going to be able to get this phone with or without any kind of contract for anywhere near the ballpark of $300 anytime soon.
And you're not going to get Legend of Zelda and Super Mario Odyssey and other console exclusives.
You'll get Chinese pirate versions of them.
Yeah.
That's what you get.
I think they did say they're working with developers, but then again, they did not mention what developers they were working with.
Sounds like Atari.
It does sound exactly like Atari. And
go ahead.
I was going to say, I just wanted to point out, you were talking about your obsession with Joy-Con, and in all their photos, I think it's really funny that they have a picture of the Switch up, but then they've like inverted the colors so the Joy-Con are white. When I first saw that, I thought, man, Z would love this white Joy-Con.
Yeah, I was like, where did they get the white Joy-Cons?
If I thought that I could actually bleach one of the gray ones to make it white, I would do it. But I think it would turn out some kind of brownish yellow.
So it would look like the Pokemon ones.
I'm sure you can get white Joy-Con cases somewhere.
I didn't even good call, man. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I could basically make my own crappy yellowish brown Joy-Cons with just some bleach and just throw. Yeah, I think I should do this. Sorry, you were saying, Mo? I love this idea now.
Oh, I just said I don't even know what I said. Something. Rewind, listen to what I said. I forget already.
Oh, I wish we could do that, man.
I don't think you had actually said it yet. I think you were just starting to say your point. So,
and then I was going off on turning my Joy-Cons diarrhea brown. So I'm sorry, man.
No, that's all right. I think you can go on. You can probably go online and just buy plastic replacement covers, and I'm sure they'll have them.
That's true. I've thought about dyeing one of my gray ones black because that'd be easy to do. But if you're gonna go through the effort of ripping off the case, why not just spend a few bucks on Amazon and order up the some fancy color custom cases, or totally. I agree. They're cheap. I think I've seen stuff as cheap as $5 or $6 for the replacement plastic.
Yeah, I don't think Huawei or whatever it is.
Huawei
is really competing on the same level. I don't think there's anybody that was gonna get a Switch, but now they're gonna hold out for this phone.
But it is kind of, it's good marketing because they want to compare themselves to a video game console as opposed to they're trying to sell themselves as the ultimate gaming phone. So I get it. I mean, I don't think anybody's looking at it as a legitimate competition. I just think they're basically piggybacking on Nintendo's marketing.
And the Switch isn't exactly the high water mark for technological excellence. If you get down to the specs level.
True. But just gaming capabilities in general, though, right? That's a console's strength versus a phone or a PC, is that everything in the console is designed around games, whereas your phone has a whole bunch of other components that are just kind of there, and games use them. But
it already beats the Switch. It can do Netflix.
Yeah, exactly.
And the internet.
And you know what? And it's got the Switch Online app, so it can do voice chat that the Switch cannot.
That's right.
Wow, what a comparison.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting thing that a lot of people talked about was that press conference, but it's apples and oranges, I think.
Yeah. I don't think anyone looking for a dedicated video game console is going to go. It's like, oh, I'll just be just as happy with a smartphone.
Yeah, they're two different markets, but yeah, it's smart on their part to do it that way.
However, saying that, if there was a Nintendo phone, I think we would all be all over that. I would be.
It's only 3G though.
Well, see that again. That's when they should have released a phone. Was when the DS came out. I remember at the time when I first heard that they were launching, this new Nintendo device was coming out, and it was not a cell phone, or did not have, like, the DS should have had 3G or something. Like, it should have been, or there should have at least been a cell phone capable version of it.
Yeah, I'm sure some game system will at some point have its own network for wireless. Sony will beat them to it. Yeah.
No, Sony did. The Vita.
Oh, did the Vita have its own?
Yeah, I think there was a Wi-Fi and a 3G or 4G version of the Vita, but I'm certain there was one that had there was one that had some sort of cellular connection. But right, it's just that I don't understand why Nintendo hasn't gone down that road. They own the handheld market and always have, and their only competition is the cell phones that they should have been dominating 10 years ago. It's just Nintendo being Nintendo, man. They should totally be owning this.
I honestly thought when it was announced that Super Mario Run was coming out and it was going to be at an Apple store, that's the place you could go to demo it. I was just waiting for Apple to say, and by the way, we're having a special edition of the iPhone that's the Nintendo iPhone. It's going to look like an NES or something. I was waiting on them to get on that bandwagon, and it's like they did not.
Just as co-marketing right there. It can just be a plain old iPhone that looks like a Game Boy or something, but it's an official,
special back on it or something, anything.
Yeah. But also, I mean, remember when the Switch was first launching and there were rumors that it might have an Android OS, right? And it's like, ooh. And if it's got Android, then it could be, right? It could be network aware, and it could have all this networking on it. Everyone thought when Pokemon Go came out, oh, well, the Switch obviously will have the capability to do all this augmented reality stuff, right? It'll obviously have GPS, right? No, none of that. Like, I don't. It's just
could have. I mean, it's based on an Android tablet. It could have done all that.
Yeah, I mean, the hardware, right? The hardware is the tablet version of the NVIDIA Shield. I don't think there is an NVIDIA Shield tablet this generation, right? Didn't they can that? There's no longer. There used to be an NVIDIA Shield tablet. They stopped producing those. Now the only NVIDIA Shield that they make for this generation is the set-top box. And lo and behold, who's taken over the Shield tablet? It's Nintendo. It's basically the same thing that NVIDIA's been producing with a Nintendo spin on it. So yeah, I mean, it is weird that Nintendo is kind of sharing an ecosystem right now. They've got their own kind of custom OS on it, but hardware-wise, it's not at all unique, which is why it's become so readily hackable. It's a weird space for Nintendo to be in because they've always been very, right? It's always been a very closed system that they controlled everything, and in this case, kind of the opposite now.
Alrighty. Well, I think it is time to close up for the week, and we have definitely been to school on Nintendo, past and present. So I guess I'll just sign off here and say thanks for watching, and hopefully you've got some ideas here if Nintendo got schooled, or if Labo going to school is a good thing. Let us know. You can hit us up in the comments here on YouTube. Send us a Twitter at NOA_podcast. Or, of course, you can just listen to us on Stitcher and iTunes as always. So thanks for listening and have a good week.
Have a good night.
Night.